Well, hello there and welcome back to this F1 2020 My Team Career Mode with the Minardi team, now decent midfield runners. So we're at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone for the next race, and second time it's been on this calendar, of course. We're over the halfway point of the season. We're now into the second half of the season. We've had two very strong results in the last couple of races. If you haven't watched France and Austria, do go watch them. Spoiler alert! We secured our first podium in France and had a strong run from 7th to 7th in the race, but we were consistently and constantly well within inside the top 10. So, workstation then. We can have a look at the weather here. Dry, dry, dry. It's going to be wet in qualifying. That is going to be a bit of an issue, but dry in the race. So, it's going to be a dry setup in qualifying. Messages then, weather forecast. Okay, right, the weather's going to ease off a little bit at the very end of the session, which basically mean that last car across the line could take pole position. It's obviously going to be heavy rain or maybe even intermediate, so then it's going to get better as it goes on. It'll still be wet, but I think it looks like qualifying is basically going to be leave the garage with a couple of minutes left. Could be the last car across the line and nail a lap. Weekend preview, obviously some information there about the circuit. So, the rivalry with Carlos Sainz. We're now halfway through this, 3 race weekends remaining. We're leading it 15-8, helped quite a lot in the last race. Sainz retired right in front of us, if you can remember, and we gained quite a lot of points over him. So we're 7 ahead of Sainz now, which is good. Driver details, 71 points now to our career. As you can see, we now have a podium finish. We have a fastest lap as well. Average finish still 12th. Average grid still 16th. Hopefully that will start to creep up sooner rather than later. Right, performance then. At the end of the previous episode, both of the major upgrades for the powertrain department came in, which was the magnetic compound for the ERS and also the updated ECU for the fuel efficiency. That came in, as well as this major upgraded, one of these, I think it might be this one. One of them we did anyway. So we've managed to get spend a bit of money on another minor upgrade for the aerodynamic department. You can see we're now cracking on with everything else. Also the powertrain department, 2 more major upgrades now coming into the car in the next few weeks. The rotor speed for the ERS and also the fuel flow regulator to help with our fuel efficiency. We're really smashing away with the upgrades at the moment, as you can see. 26th, 29th and 29th. Progress history then. Right, so let's have a look what's happened between Austria and Silverstone. Mercedes have had little upgrades, same for the Ferrari and Red Bull. McLaren have had a slightly bigger upgrade than Renault, so McLaren are now realistically the 4th best team. AlphaTauri in 6th, Racing Point in 7th. We jump ahead of Alfa Romeo into 8th. Nothing from Alfa Romeo. A little one from Haas, nothing from Williams, who really are struggling towards the back of the field. So you're looking at that right now. You can see that from McLaren down to Haas, we are right in the midfield mix. So hopefully our performances on track will continue to improve. As for our units, I'll make a change on to units number 1 and 2 for the 3 practice sessions. Units number 3 that we use for qualifying race, still nice and healthy in the 20s and 30s. Gearbox then, practice gearbox 11%, nothing to worry about there. I don't order a new one until it hits 20. Event gearbox, we're halfway through this life cycle now. This one, it's only at 19%. And the weekend tyre allocation, we've gone for the balanced setup. I want to carry 2 sets of mediums if I can into the race. In fact, we'll have 2 sets of mediums, 2 sets of softs and a set of hards in the race, because it will be one in the wet running. The dry tyres, you can see there, for Q1 and Q2 will not be needed, so there's different strategy options available to us in the race. And finally then the standings, P9 in the championship, 39 points, P7 in the constructors and 58 season results there. You can see we had a good start to the season, some lower point finishes, then a bit of a blip with Baku and Canada come back strong in France and Austria. Trophies, you can see there we have a podium in France and 7th place in Austria. So let's go to practice sessions and try to get all these done, work out the setup and get ready for qualifying. So I'll be back with you guys at the end of FP3 with an update. So here we are then at the end of FP3. You can see there it was on the soft tyres, ended the session in P10, 1.3 off of the pace set by Ricciardo, but quite positive though really, as we're only a couple of attempts away from Vettel, Leclerc and Perez. We were clear of Hamilton on the medium tyres, same for Verstappen, Ocon on the hards as well. Raikkonen was 3 tenths slower than us on the softs. Kvyat in the AlphaTauri was 6 tenths slower than us. As for Nick De Vries, he did the session on the hard tyres, so pretty unrepresentable, but even then he was still clear of Russell and very close to Magnussen and Stroll. For FP1 and FP2, yeah, basically just going through the motions, doing the laps. We managed to complete all of our practice programs, but unfortunately the qualifying one we only managed to do in green, so I think we ended up with something like 590 resource points. We had Three additional R&D objectives with the 3 upgrades we've recently had on the car. Passed all them fairly comfortably as well. So we've got plenty of resource points for the weekend. I'm a little bit worried that the P10 is a bit overly optimistic. There's a few cars behind us that are obviously quicker than us, but we're running on medium or hard tyres. And in FP1 and especially in FP2, when we made our way onto better units, we were still languishing down in P18, P19. Hopefully that's not going to be the case going into qualifying. But I've got a nice setup. I've got a nice balanced setup, I should say. So I'm confident that will be solidly within the midfield. So, quite a lot of resource points there. 737 from me, 264 from Nick DeVries. About 1,000. I think it might be 1,001 that we managed to claim in the free practice session. 28, 24, 52% combined for the team. Of course, it goes a little bit slower, but we're still moving our way up. So, back at the workstation number 4, qualifying, which of course is going to be run in wet conditions. Some messages there about the circuit. The weather, it is going to change a little bit towards the end of qualifying. It might transition from heavy rain to intermediate, so it might be quite crucial to get out there towards the end. We had a couple of questions from Claire after FP3, enabling me to do a bit of more morale work onto the powertrain department. You can see there the build time is decreased by 16%, failure chance decreased by 8%. That will go down eventually, but because we've had 2 major upgrades recently and we've got another 2 currently in development as well, I want to try and focus, I think, as much as we can onto the powertrain department, really get ourselves up there as best as we can. So the units in FP3 was obviously units number 3, and we'll carry this over to the race, but they are now getting very close to being pretty much level with the units from, or units number 2, I should say. So we'll probably be mixing between 3 and 2 for the next couple of races, but I think we might have to take another penalty hit at some point in the season. As for the gearbox, practice gearbox only at 14%, event gearbox now at 20%, halfway through its life cycle. So we'll go to the track, and hopefully there'll be a weather change towards the end. We can get out and post some quick times, but it will be a dry setup going into qualifying, because as you see, the race is going to be completely dry. So points and prizes are handed out on race day, not in qualifying. So at the very beginning of the qualifying session, you can see there it is full wet tyres. So we'll just go through now. 18-minute session. Is it going to be a little bit better with 15 minutes to go? It's not. What is it going to be like at 20 minutes? Because if it's going to change, it's not going to change, but I don't know. Let's have a look at the tyre situation anyway. Yeah, I don't see any real point in going out just yet, and we'll see what happens with about 10 minutes to go. See if his intermediate tyres are going to be a little bit quicker. You can see at the moment they're 2.358 seconds slower than the Delta time. So obviously it's full wet tyres at the moment. So the car set up then, as we've got plenty of time, we'll drain the fuel out. Actually, I'll put a bit more in, because I might be doing 2 laps towards the end on the intermediate. So aero 5.6, transmission 60-60, suspension geometry to the right and the left of the camber and toes. Suspension 5.4, 6.5, 6.7, brakes 154, and the tyres all 1 click down on the fronts and the rears. So that is the setup. A few cars going out on circuit. I'm just going to sit here and chill and see what it's like with 10 minutes left to go. So literally 10 minutes left of the session. You can see there are some lap times on the board already. The quicker guys at the front, as you would expect. So I have a look then at the tyres. Oh, it is a little bit better. It is a little bit better. You can see there 1.65, 5.1, 4.9, 4.6, 4.3. So there may be a little opportunity to get out there on the intermediate tyres. I'm going to again sit here and chill to about 6 minutes left to go, at which point I think the intermediates will probably be the best tyres, and I may very well go out there for 2 runs towards the end of the session.
Intermediate tyres are your best bet in the current conditions.
So you can see they've now made the change onto the intermediate tyres, and the Delta is coming down between the 2 of them, so it will be intermediate running towards the end. We do have a couple of drivers out on circuit. In fact, Norris's Latifi has just gone out on the circuit. What tyres is he on? He's still on the wet tyres. Yeah, so I think this track condition is definitely going to improve. I think what we'll do is we'll leave nice and early, because I want to try and do 2 runs if I can. Unsuitable tyre warning, that's fine. Ignore and go to track. Park firmware regulations now into effect, and now we'll drive out of the garage. So I think we'll be the first car out there with intermediates. We'll probably take it a little easy. So we're going to be doing 2 hot laps here. Could have gone out there and done an out lap, a fast lap, and then a slow lap, and then another fast lap towards the end. turn everything down. And we are coming out then on intermediate. It's going to be a bit tricky at first, because the intermediates are slowly coming into it, but they're not the ideal tyre just yet. And it's a wet Silverstone then. Very damp and grey, as most English days are. Very twitchy. So we're just coming down to the Abbey chicane. Try and save a bit of ERS in this lap. We'll definitely have time to do 2. You can see there the pit lane is busy. Quite a few cars are now coming up for the final run, so we might have a bit of traffic on our first lap. Here we go then. Let's see if we can get straight to the top on our first run. So we've backed out of it because I was making mistakes. I was a second down on the fastest time, and I wanted to be about a second up really on these tyres. So here we go then. We'll go again. And this is now the final attempt. Everyone now, I think, out in the intermediate tyres. Just coming down to the final chicane, the Abbey chicane. I've absolutely no idea what this lap is going to be like. Probably won't be pole. Be disappointed if it's last. Qualifying is completed. Where's it going to put us? P14. I'll take that. So there you go then. I thought most drivers were actually out in the intermediate tyres. I expected they would be, but they weren't. It was just me and Norris, I think. And that's why Norris has managed to pop himself up into P3. So I think then some of these guys weren't confident on the intermediate tyres and stuck with the wet. So Hamilton's taken pole at his home event. Bottas in second. Norris then with the intermediates up into third. Minster Claire and Vettel 4th and 5th, Verstappen in 6th, Sainz, Ricciardo, Ocon and Albon complete the top 10. Then it's the 2 Alpha Tauris of Kvyat and Gasly, Stroll in 13th. We end up the session in 14th, clear of Giovinazzi in 15th, Raikkonen, Perez, Nick De Vries in P18. Latifi also went out there on the intermediate tyres, which is why he's managed to out-qualify Grosjean, Russell and Magnussen. So yeah, quite a surprise there actually. I thought most of them would be out there on the intermediates. Maybe it just wasn't ready in time, but we've managed to secure P14 on the grid, which to be honest is what I thought we'd be where we were anyway in qualifying if it was dry. So I'll take a P14 and now we can focus on the race. So Sainz out qualified us, so we lose a point. I think it's now 15 to 10, so we should remain or 16 to 10 I should say, so we're still 6 points ahead, which is a decent gap I think to him. The team claim 28, 24, 52, which is usually what we see. So yeah, again, just plugging away with your claim. So at the workstation, you can see just over there to the right outside, it's nice and sunny, which is what we want for the race. We've got a message in from Jeff, pre-race notes. Have a good race out there today. I'm sure you'll do just fine. It is, of course, my home race, so I'll be hoping to get back inside the points. We missed out in Season 1, unfortunately, scoring points. Hopefully we can do it in Season 2 and keep our good point streak going, really. We've scored points in, I think, what are we? We've done 9 races now, I think, 9 or 10 races. And apart from Azerbaijan and Canada? I don't know, I'm going to have a look. Being a bit silly here, aren't I? Yeah, Azerbaijan and Canada. Apart from those 2 races, we've scored points in all of the others. So, yeah, we've scored points in 7 races out of 9. Hopefully we can keep that going. 39 points. So, yeah, not bad. Right, we aren't going to change anything. We'll go to the race. We'll have a look at the build-up, the grid as well, see if anyone has any penalties, and we're going to focus on our race strategy. 26 laps around the brilliant Silverstone circuit.
Welcome along then to Great Britain and the Great Silverstone Circuit for today's Grand Prix. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone Circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel and Verstappen, Sainz, Ricciardo, Ocon and Alexander Albon, Kvyat, Gasly, Lance Stroll, Lee, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Sergio Perez and Nick de Vries. Latifi, Grosjean, Russell and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Okay then, so remaining P14, no grid penalties for anyone out there. Race strategy, softs onto mediums. We'll run with it. We'll start with a lap's worth of extra fuel as well. If there is an early safety car, then we might make the change from softs onto hards. Soft tyres, I did 6 laps in FP2 with the soft tyres for the race strategy programme, though around about the 30% mark. So I think they should be okay to do 10 or 11 laps, and then 15 laps on the medium should also be okay. So that is the strategy that we'll select. Like I said, if there is an early safety car or a VSC comes out and we're very, very close to the pit lane, as in like hanger straight onwards, then I might come in and go onto the hards, because you do lose a lot of time in the pit lane here. As I mentioned in season 1, it's a very slow speed, very long pit lane as well. You really don't want to mess up your strategy too much. So we'll start the race. P14 is not a bad position to be. I don't think we'll be racing up the field. In fact, we won't be racing up the field. This is going to be a bit of a midfield fight, I think, with these guys around us. Nice slow pull away.
Right, let's get the car up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
Yep, already done that. So we have to do a bit of tyre warming on this. There's the units, by the way. Our best units available to us in the 20s and 30s, which is fine. There's still plenty of life in them. They will be struggling a little bit. It's not until you really get into the 50s and 60s that you notice a significant drop in performance. Starting with a lap's worth of extra fuel as well. Used to start season 1 with 2 or 3 laps worth of extra fuel, and then with the safety cars and VSCs, we ended up with way too much fuel, which obviously slows you down. The more fuel you carry, the slower you go. So that's why this season we'll start every race with 1 lap.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected.
No rain, so it's a fully dry race, which is good. As you make our way across the old start-finish line, which was last used in. Oh, this is going to be a test. I think it was last used in 2011. Could be wrong. So it's a fast-flowing circuit is Silverstone. The laps will, even though it's quite a long lap here, it's a very fast lap. And with that 1 litre or 1 extra lap worth of fuel, we'll burn through that quite quickly, I feel. It is a bit of a high fuel burn circuit, but the ERS management around there should be okay. There's only a couple of places we really need to use it, and that'll be down the 2 straights. Wellington Straight in Sector 1, and then Hangar Straight in Sector 3. That is where both of the DRS zones are, as Giovinazzi decides to ghost through me. So we'll be looking to get most of our overtakes, if we manage to do it, along the 2 DRS straights. So I'll come back onto the grid now. Line up on the right hand side, which could be tricky going into turn 1. Let's pray for a good start, a clean start, and try to gain a position or 2. Lights coming on now then for my home event. Ho, ho, ho. Check for damage. We're clear.
Great first lap. Keep it up.
Thank you, Jeff. P11. Not bad. See if we can stick to the back of Albon and Ocon, pull us along nicely and pull us away from the Toro Rossos behind. Oh, the understeer. Yeah, fair enough. So that one completed. We're in a good position here. Let's knuckle down. So into lap 3, I've got a gap to the Toro Rossos behind, but we are slipping away from the guys in front. And DRS is now enabled. Slipstream is very important around here. So I want to be able to make sure I'm away from Gasly. I'm feeling okay so far. Just come through the Abbey chicane. My fears have been realised. We're slipping away from the top 10. And I've got the rest of the midfield all behind me. But I'm comfortable at the moment, but clearly we are not on the pace. So the practice times that we were getting is being realised here. Not too sure how long I can hold on. I'm pushing quite hard on these soft tyres. Just come through to complete lap 7 and just look at the track map. You can see there the leaders are absolutely gone. And then there's a massive train behind me, apart from the 2 Williams cars, who are obviously massively underdeveloped and are a long way back. But yeah, we are struggling here. I think once the pit stops happen, that we'll end up falling pretty much, I think, behind all these guys. But we're using our ERS and fuel quite nicely, and none of them have been close enough yet to make a pass. But yeah, we're 11th purely because no one's overtaken us. On pace, we're probably, I think, 20th. Okay, into lap 11, the pit window is now open. And the softs have been okay, to be honest. We're just slow, but the tyre wear seems okay. Our Haas car's in the pits. None of the leaders have pitted. So we might be in at the end of this lap. We might push it another one. I'm using ERS down both the straights and rich mix fuel from Woodcote all the way to Maggots and Beckett, so basically along the old pit complex area, and that's worked out well for us. We're still good on fuel and ERS, and Gasly behind has had no opportunities really to get past, but quite clearly we are slow here. So I think once we do make a pit stop and everyone else does as well, we'll find ourselves falling back down the order a little bit. But it's, yeah, it's pretty grim. Okay, P7 for a lap, into the pits now. Got a few cars behind me. Ah, Nick De Vries is coming in as well.
Coming in for a stop.
I might have screwed him over a little bit. It's been a long time in the pits here.
Go, go, go.
So coming back out the pits then, I held Nick De Vries unfortunately. Looks like we might be able to hold on to this P11. There was cars to the left of me, it's Raikkonen, there he is. So we do manage to hold on to P11. Everyone's now on the medium tyres. There might be a couple of that pitted a bit earlier that are on the hards. But we're still in P11. So the first half of the race may very well mimic the second half, where we're going to be slow as shit compared to the top 10. If we can do a job here of holding these guys behind me, you never know. Getting a bit low on fuel. ERS is still good. Might have a little bit of fuel saving. We might be pulling away from Raikkonen just a little bit at the moment. So into lap 16 now. New personal best. Raikkonen is not really threatening us. We're still running the same strategy he was, ERSing down the straights. This could be a very interesting highlight video once all this is done, if we end up being in P11. Because nothing really special has happened. And it's just a case of just being flat out and keeping the quicker cars behind us. Don't know where the pace has gone really. I feel slightly better on these mediums than I do on the softs, granted, but that might be the fact that we are obviously now running less fuel. But we're comfortable in 11th, just not quick enough. So at 19 of 26, as I boost a little bit of ERS. Raikkonen, Perez and a few others still behind us, but if you look on the track map there, at the beginning of the race, if you like, or on the soft stint, we had pretty much everyone behind us apart from the Williams cars. The Haas cars and our teammates dropped off, and there's an AlphaTauri back there as well that's also struggling to keep up. So, like I said, we feel a little bit more confident on the mediums. It's not the biggest train in the world behind us, but still 4 or 5 cars to keep us honest. I'm looking behind more than I am looking in front, but we are comfortable here. Lap 22, I put 6 cars behind me, so you have broken away from a few of them. But to be honest, I'm very comfortable here in P11. The way I'm running this race has been pretty much the same since lap 1. Use ERS down the 2 main straights, a little bit of rich mixed fuel along the old grid hatchings. And yeah, this could be one of the most blandest race highlight videos I've ever done, because to be honest, nothing's really happened. Shame we're not P10 though. So out of the Abbey chicane to come across the line to start the 26th and final lap. Nothing has changed. Honestly, this is just... I mean, with no safety car, no real incidents on track, one retirement, but that was a Williams towards the back of the field. This is literally just being an exercise in just running hard for 26 laps. We've been smart with the ERS and the rich fuel mix as well to keep these guys behind us. But to be honest with you, we have been massively off the pace. And I'm not too sure why, because going into this weekend I was quietly confident of a decent result with the upgrades that we'd had. Certainly after the last 2 races of Austria and France where we scored good points. Bottas wins the race, good luck to him. But here, for whatever reason, I mean, I saw in one of the practice sessions where I was down in P18 and I thought to myself, you know, the lap I did was pretty good as well. How come we're that far down? And I think it's been realised in this race that if we'd allowed everyone through, we'd probably be about P15, 16, something like that, which is a bit of a... which isn't really very good. No one's retired from in front of us, which is a massive shame. Raikkonen's a little bit close this time. He's not going to try it though. And we've, to be honest, never really come under threat. No one's been alongside us. No one's tried a legitimate move. And as the tyres start to dive towards the end with a little bit of a train behind me. It's P11 at home. I wish it was one more. So Bottas wins the race, just 2 seconds ahead of Hamilton, and Bottas will extend his championship lead as well. Vettel rose from 5th to 3rd, putting Norris off of a potential British Grand Prix podium down into 4th. Leclerc in 5th, Verstappen in 6th, and it's both the Renaults of Ocon and Ricciardo 7th and 8th, Sainz 9th, Albon in 10th. So the both the Renaults, McLaren's, Ferraris, Red Bulls and Mercedes scored points. Finished us in 11th, you can see there, half a minute behind Alex Albon, and right behind us we had Raikkonen, Perez, Kvyat, Stroll, Giovinazzi, Gasly and Magnussen. A couple of seconds back was Nick de Vries, who unfortunately held in the pits and couldn't catch back up to the pack. And then another further get back to Grosjean. Latifi was a lap down. George Russell, the only retirement. We pretty much were in 11th after the start, and we remained in 11th with a queue of traffic behind us. So yeah, it was just a weird race, really. Just I couldn't find, there was just no pace from us. If I'd pulled over to the side and allowed all of these cars through, I think we'd struggle to catch. I think we would have struggled to catch back up to Grosjean, to be completely honest with you. That's how off the pace we seem to be. And it's a shame that Nick de Vries is down in 19th. But yeah, I mean, it's a finish. It's an 11th place finish. But yeah, massively off the pace. So the standings then, as we're now done with the British Grand Prix. Bottas now has a 13-point lead over Vettel and a 62-point lead over Hamilton. Bottas is now the favourite. Well, Bottas and Vettel really are the two favourites for the title. Hamilton's got to pull something out of his arse if he wants to win the championship this year. Other than that, Lando Norris moves up to 8th place ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. We dropped down outside of the top 10 into P11 thanks to Norris and Ricciardo's points. Ocon also manages to get past Gasly. Further down, Sainz with his points pushes him ahead of Giovinazzi. 3 drivers still get to score: Magnussen, Grosjean and Russell. So in the constructors, no change. Mercedes have a 39-point lead over Ferrari. Racing Point still in 3rd, but Red Bull are closing back up. AlphaTauri good in 5th at the moment with Renault. We're in 7th, but McLaren just 1 point behind us, and as I've been saying for the last couple of episodes, I'll be expecting McLaren sooner rather than later to catch and pass us. So we look good for at least finishing in 8th place. Alfa Romeo a long way back on 19. Williams on 2. Haas still surprisingly yet to score. So after we break down, Carlos Sainz beats us 4-2. See who'll close up just a little bit. Now just 4 points ahead of him with 2 weekends remaining. Team McLaren 28, 24, 52 combined for the team. Pretty much the same as it has been for the last couple of episodes. And finally, the catch. As a team completed a total of 100 laps during the race weekend, we missed out 99 out of 100. We managed to do so. One more lap we would have done it. Damage deductions as well, but still up to a bang on $23 million. So here we are then back at the team headquarters. It's the 20th of July at the moment. We have a season break on the 3rd of August because there'll be three and a half weeks before the next Grand Prix. So we've got the diffuser hopefully coming in on the 26th. And we also have the fuel flow regulator and rotor speed coming in on the 29th, and the lightweight pistons as well. So have a look, see exactly what is going on. So the 26th will be the aerodynamic upgrade for the straight positions. Fuel flow and rotor speed will be for the 29th. So what is the earlier one then? We've got the diffuser, fuel flow, lightweight pistons. I can only assume that is an additional powertrain upgrade. I believe we do have one down here. Yeah, lightweight pistons. So we've got a minor upgrade for the aerodynamic department hopefully coming in. 2 major upgrades for the powertrain department, and then an additional minor upgrade, as you can see here, hopefully coming in for the lightweight pistons. So we have 23 million exactly. Some activities we can probably do between now and the 3rd of August. So G-Force training for Nick de Vries increases his racecraft by 2. What else we've got? Vehicle PR filming knocks the morale a little bit, but it gets us $12,500 in cash, which isn't too bad really. But the team acclaim goes up by 750. Might as well do that. Driver promotion filming, that's my own acclaim, up by 200. Chassis equipment upgrade, 10% department morale for the chassis department and 60 extra resource points. Why not? Power team building. Powertrain department goes up by 10%. That's quite important actually, because we're focusing a lot of time on the powertrain department. $5,000 in total isn't an issue, and we've got a durability department focus as well, which I think we will leave. So facilities then, Spec 2 on the personnel, Spec 2 on durability, Spec 1 for everything else. You might as well look at the powertrain department. How much is this going to cost? 5 million, 10, 15, 21 million dollars. So we might as well get the powertrain department up into Spec 2 fully all the way. You can see there the advantages: increased fabrication capacity to a maximum of 3 developments at the same time, improved build time of all upgrades by 40%, improved failure chance reduction to 20%, and improved resource points generation every week to 120. So that's nice. So it leaves us very little money, but we don't need to spend any more money now until the end of the season when we re-sign Nick De Vries, and I'm sure we'll have enough money to do that after the next few races. As for R&D, right, I'm going to not do anything, because if any of these parts fail, hopefully we can get them redone before the Belgian Grand Prix. As for vehicle, these are all the units obviously. Corporate side of things, sponsors are all good. Satellite's close to the end, 42 days, so it might be after Belgium we'll have to re-sign with them. And TriStar as well, gold bonus, nearly $13 million now, and as a team achieved 2 points finishes. We've already done that, so that's good as well. As for contracts, you can see there Nick De Vries, now level 84. I think his racecraft's going to go 2 after we've done his driver training. He's now worth just over 7 million. Driver market, finances, finance history. You can take taking a massive L because we've had to. That's what it means. It's like 20 million it was to get the powertrain department from Spec 1 to Spec 2, and we've still got 3 other departments that we have to get to Spec 2, and of course it's going to cost even more to get it to Spec 3. So the whole facility department isn't going to be Spec 3 all the way through until probably, I reckon, the end of season 4, maybe even season 5. And yeah, so that's work in progress. So we'll advance the time. So the G-Force training comes in for Nick De Vries. The diffuser and vehicle PR filming has passed. Good. Job promotion filming, weekly resources and running costs. The filter regulator and rotor speed have both come in. Load of stuff there for the chassis. The lightweight pistons comes in. The power team building comes in. Weekly resources, running costs, and now we come into our mid-season break. So everything was in green there. Really, really good. Season break then we return on the 24th of August. So the powertrain department is now Spec 2. Looks a little better as well. There's some more stuff there with the team to use. We've got workbenches and everything else as well. It's going to cost 10 million, 22, 34, 47 million. $47 million to get the powertrain department to Spec 3. That is going to take a while. Shut down facility? Absolutely not. 42 million to get it up and going. My God. Well, we generate now 360 resource points every week, and the running costs now $165,000. You would expect it would go up. The more we advance in all of these departments, the more resource points we get. But of course, the running costs are going to go up higher. I'm not too sure what to do after this. Really, personnel. Really, we could probably. That's going to be the best part of 30 odd million. To get this to Spec 2 is going to cost 20 million, and these are going to cost obviously over 20 million as well. But there we go then. I mean, the durability side of it as well, 7, that's 16 million. 9 on top of that is 25. 12 million is 37. So a little bit cheaper for the durability department, but still 40 plus million to get powertrain department into Spec 3 is a bit nuts. So R&D, we can look here, we can see that obviously these 2 major upgrades have obviously come in, and obviously the minor upgrade for the lightweight pistons as well, and obviously the minor upgrade for the diffuser, the refined straight position. So we've got nearly 2,500 resource points. We might as well spend a bit more money on getting some stuff done. If we do these 2 minors, standard development, rush development would be just after Belgium. A standard development would be just before Italy. How about this major upgrade? Standard between Italy and Russia. I mean, if we rush it, what's that going to be? 37% failure chance at 700, 12% failure chance as a standard. Because you can see there, the build time is decreased by 60%, failure chance decreased by 18. But of course, we're now Spec 2, which is upgraded and managed to get us some more upgrades. Upgrades, I should say, is managed to unlock more upgrades now that we are Spec 2. So 700, 1200 is 19. And then 700 again is going to take us over 25. Okay, that's fine. Right, so we might as well get these 2 miners on the go at least. You can see there that looking at that, our powertrain department is now the 3rd best. I'll do, of course, in the next episode, an update on how we are in relation to other teams. So this is for the bearings in. For the energy recovery system, an adjustment to the design of the MGU bearings reduces the amount of internal friction, therefore increasing the amount of energy that can be utilised. Cool. We'll have that on the go, and we'll come down here to some fuel technology. So advancements to the fuel source provides a significant efficiency improvement, and of course helps our overall fuel efficiency. Again, we'll do a standard one between Belgium and Italy. Cool, that leaves us with 1,000. Aerodynamic upgrade, we could possibly do one over here. When will that arrive? Oh, after, no, I think we'll save. We'll save. So, right. There we go. That is the way things stand. I'm now going to take the season break and therefore end the episode here and be back with you guys in the workstation at Belgium, because not a lot will happen between the 24th and the 27th of August. So we've managed to increase Nick De Vries just a little bit. We might as well have just a little bit of a look at him. So his racecraft is now up to 73 and his rating has gone up to 85. His experience is what's letting him down, to be honest, because he was an ex-F2 driver. If he was in, let's say, the mid-70s with his experience, his rating would probably be into the low 90s. But I'm happy with Nick De Vries at the moment. Like I said, I'm going to keep him around for a while and keep plugging away at him, and hopefully he can improve as well as the team. So as for the race and the weekend itself, I did struggle in the practice sessions to find some ultimate pace. We managed to complete a majority of our programs in purple. The only one we didn't was a qualifying one, which is still green. So overall, as you can see during the episode after FP3, we gained a lot of resource points. But yeah, the FP2 practice times were the first sign of indication that we are slightly off the pace. Qualifying obviously was a mixed bag with the changeable conditions, and then in the race, yeah, I mean, we managed to hold position. Don't get me wrong, there was never any opportunity that the cars behind had a realistic opportunity to overtake us, because we were using the ERS and the fuel really comfortably. But we finished 11th and 30 seconds behind the guy in 10th with a queue of cars behind us, and that was the case it was for the whole race. So pretty disappointing, actually, that we weren't more on the pace. 11th is good, but it's not points. And hopefully we can improve that in the next couple of races. Belgium and Italy coming up, 2 tracks I really do like. So yeah, hopefully better luck next time around. But still, 11th place, load of upgrades on the car, getting the powertrain department to Spec 2. Outside of the racing side of things, we're improving the team very nicely. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you all for the next one.